Acrylic painting tutorial. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to paint a rose with a letter. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Let me show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to chat today for our live show, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask them in chat and I'll try to answer. Let's get started. Alrighty. So I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. This is the Fredrix Mixed Media Canvas board. And I haven't done anything to prep it. I've just transferred on my design on here. They come pre-gessoed and ready to go. Let me go over my colors real quick. I've got carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, ultramarine blue, Quinacridone Magenta, and Unbleached Titanium and Titanium White. And this one is some glazing medium just to help us as we're painting to blend. You're going to want mainly, I think we'll be using our angle brushes. So I've got a 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch angle. I've also got my blenders for some of the blending work, possibly. I'm going to probably simplify this rose. I don't think I'm going to do it in ultra realistic style. I think we'll kind of simplify it because it might take us kind of a long time to do it in super realistic. But then you're also going to want some sort of a liner. I've got two here that are good choices. I've got an 18-aught short liner and a 2-aught script liner. Either one is going to work for our script detail. You just want something that you can control really well. You can also use a pen if you wanted to for that part of it. And they have all kinds of paint marker pens now that are actually like acrylic ink. As long as you can get a fine enough tip, you need a pretty fine nib for this. So, all right, let's get going here. I'm going to be using a 10 angle bright. Thank you to Princeton. Princeton's our brush sponsor. So we're using the Princeton products and Fredrix today. Fredrix, our canvas sponsor. The red handled brushes are VelvetTouch, and the green handled long brushes are the Summit 6100 series brushes. So both are really good high quality brushes. And I've got links to where you can buy the materials and all the materials that we're using down in the description in case you want to check that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just coat the background of this. Also, before we start, I wanted to mention the traceable for this it should be up now on my Patreon page. So if you're one of our Patreon supporters and want to download that, you can. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and just go with unbleached titanium and some titanium white, kind of almost in equal parts here to start with for our letter. And if you don't have unbleached titanium, Titan Buff is another option, or just add a little bit of brown, maybe a little yellow oxide to a white to get this kind of ivory color. That's all you're going to need. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of the burnt sienna just to use up in the corners, just to darken that area up just a little bit. And I'm just going to blend it while it's wet so that it kind of just blends into what we've done. And this large angle brush will help us get into our little cracks and things pretty easily. Mic towards me, okay.
Thank you.
I'm not talking loud enough. I need to talk louder. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a little low.
A little low? Okay, I'll try to amp it up. When I think my voice gets softer. So.
Well, that's what you get for thinking.
I know. You need to stop doing that, I guess.
Works for me.
All right, going with a little bit of the lighter color back here. And I'm just going in between the flowers. Really, if you wanted to, you could do your whole background first and then transfer on the flowers. So that's totally up to you if you want to do it that way. We're kind of blending this whole all the greens back here are very blendy. So they're blended into the background, kind of blurry. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on first, and then we'll kind of, when we put our green on, we'll probably use a little bit of this color to blur those edges somewhat. So I hope you guys are doing well, and if you're new to our channel, you'll subscribe and come back. We do these videos a couple times a week. I'm getting ready to take a break for the summer for on the weekends, but we're already seeing kind of a slowdown in our videos and live streams. I think people are taking advantage of the restrictions lifting, you know, in a lot of places and going and doing stuff, ready to get out of the house. I know I am.
I know last year we didn't see the normal fall off like we usually do,
right,
because of the pandemic.
It
and this
stayed
year
steady all summer.
we're seeing it fall off a little bit sooner than normal.
Exactly.
So we understand.
We normally see a slowdown around May when things, you know, start to open up and people start doing outdoor things.
Yeah, it gets warm and people can go on vacations and schools are out and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Not this
Now, like,
year.
I can go leave the house? Yes.
I know.
But remember, you can stream us live on any mobile device.
There you go. There you go. I don't know.
Standard charges apply.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, I was trying to decide if we should start cutting back early this year and enjoy it early.
Okay, well, we can just
break
stop.
on the weekends.
We'll just stop right here.
No, I'm just saying, you know.
Okay.
Like.
We'll do 5-minute paintings.
Exactly. Oh. That would be interesting.
What can she do in 5 minutes?
I can talk about
Go.
what I'm painting, and that's it. And
So she told us the colors and the brushes.
That's about right.
Every video is just about colors and brushes.
If you decide to paint this is what you'll need. The end. Thanks for watching. It's funny.
Well, it's kind of nice to be able to come in and sit down for a little while. Rest up after working all morning, so I don't mind the videos.
Right. Oh, I don't either. I love it. I do. But it was nice last year to have a little bit of a break, too, on the weekends. Just have the weekends off.
Yes, it is.
We'll see. We'll let you know. We always put our schedule out early, so I don't think we're going to do it this month or next month. I mean,
probably not. No.
Probably not till May, maybe. All right, I added a little bit of burnt umber and ultramarine blue together and made a shadow color there for under that leaf, and I'm gonna use a little bit of it in here. And this background color is still wet, but if your background color is not wet, what you can do is just see how I've loaded the dark color on the tip of my brush and left the lighter color kind of at the bottom. And that way I can kind of direct that color to where I want it to be dark. And then it'll kind of blend out with the lighter color that is at the bottom of my brush. I'm going to wipe that off, and there's actually a shadow that comes out from that leaf there. So it's kind of pointed out there. I'm just very gently kind of just blending out that edge there. And then I want a little bit lighter color right there, so I'm just going to get a little bit of the lighter color and just push back that shadow where I want it a little bit lighter. See how that works. And this is still very a little bit wet, the background now. It's starting to dry over here. It's getting sticky. I can feel it. It's like pulling at the brush. It's not blending, so I'm not going to try to blend any of that right now. I'm just going to have to let it dry before I do anything. I'm going to go ahead and try to get a little bit of this darker color right up next to my rose right here, though.
Got a question a couple people have asked,
Okay.
like similar, which is, how do you know how much paint to load onto your brush, and how do you avoid overloading it with a lot of paint?
It depends on what I'm doing with it, but yeah, that's just something that you'll kind of develop as you paint, kind of a innate feel for it. So, and you may end up being, you know, more. I do paint very thinly. Like, I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, but some artists, you know, paint a lot more thick with their paint and can, you know, do just about the same stuff that I do. Okay, see, I just went over that color right there, and it was starting to dry, and so it lifted that off a little bit. I'm going to try to go back over it. So, I mean, it really depends on what I'm painting, but if I know I need to cover a large area, usually I will start with a fairly good amount of paint on my brush, and then as I get where I'm blending, I back off. But when I'm blending two areas together, say, I will use a lot of paint, or not a ton, but, you know, a pretty good amount of paint to start with. And then lay that down where I want it the brightest. And then I will get the next color and lay it down thickly where I want it to be the brightest. And then while they're both wet, we'll wipe my brush clean and then blend them. And that gives me the most control over my blending. I don't know if that made sense, but so it really depends on what I'm doing, how much paint I load on there. But I would say keep a paper towel handy, and if you get it on the canvas and you're smushing it around and it just doesn't seem like it's blending at all, it's just kind of moving the paint back and forth but not actually blending it, then you can wipe your brush off and go back over it. And basically just kind of pull off some of the color as you work. Okay, so I still need to put a shadow in there, but I think it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and start on our rose. I'm going to get the 3/8 inch angle here. And I think I'm going to actually use as I said that, I'm going to use a palette knife, and I'm going to mix up my rose color because it's not going to be this bright magenta color. It's going to be a softer pink. But I want kind of a dark version and then a lighter version. So I'm going to kind of split that magenta in two parts, and I'm going to mix up a darker version. That's why I put out the black at the very end. It wasn't in my list of colors, but I decided I really just want the black to be able to mix in here my darkest tones at the darkest part of my flower. And it's probably 2 parts magenta, 1 part black. And that'll be my dark color for inside the rose.
Real quick, why did you choose not to paint the whole canvas first?
Because I didn't want to cover over my lines, and I didn't want to have to. I don't like to transfer the design on while I'm painting live. Just takes too much time.
They can do that if they want to.
Right. Yeah.
It won't hurt anything with layering the colors on the rose.
No, go ahead and do all of your color over the whole thing, and then transfer your design on top. That'll be a good way of
I know
doing it.
sometimes it's because the background color will bleed through your flower and stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
so
that won't be a problem with this one at all. So.
Well, good.
All right, so I mixed up about half 50-50 yellow oxide and unbleached titanium, and then I'm going to take some quinacridone magenta. I'm going to slowly add a little bit of magenta just to see how it looks. That looks pretty good, actually. And then I'm going to take a little bit of white over here and just try and see what it looks like when it's in its lightest version. That's pretty good. There's an area along the edges of this rose that are very like coral, and then the center is more of a pink, so it kind of bleeds out like a little bit more of a coral color around the edges of the rose. So I'm going to add a lot of white here to this. So we've got our light blush pink here that's got that coral undertone. I'm leaving the darkest version of it here that doesn't have white in it so that we can have it for shadows and things, because even in that lightest area there's some shadowing happening. Okay, that's a really, really pretty color. I like that a lot. So that was Unbleached Titanium and Yellow Oxide in equal parts, plus a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta, and then a lot of white here. Okay, so there we go. I think that'll be our color for most of our highlight area. And then for the center of the rose, we'll go ahead and use, I'm going to go ahead and grab the white here, and actually let me just go ahead and mix it into the magenta that I have right here. And see how bright that is. It's too bright. It's not this color of rose. So we're going to have to, let's go ahead and add a little bit of the Yellow Oxide. So that'll kind of tone it down a little bit. Similar to this color, but it doesn't have the Unbleached Titanium. And it's more magenta than the Yellow Oxide. So this one was more of the yellow, and this color here has got more of the magenta here in it. That's pretty close, I think, to what I want. And I'm going to try adding some white to it. So I'm going to scrape up some over here and just find a spot over here to add my white. And I'm going to go ahead and add some of this Unbleached Titanium to it also. Okay, that's good. So by using the yellows that are more muted, the Yellow Oxide and the ivory, that the Unbleached Titanium color that's got that kind of muted quality, it kind of brings that rose color down to a more natural color. If I just used the white with the magenta, it made kind of almost a bubblegum pink color, which is fine on some roses. Some roses are that bright pink, and you want that sometimes, but on this one, it's more muted. So we'll just use, this is the color right here. This is going to be a good main color. So basically it's the same as this, only this one had more yellow in it. That's all the difference is, because I used all the same colors. I just used more of the magenta in this mix here and less of the yellow. And hopefully I have enough of that one to be able to use. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and just take my brush and wipe that palette knife off because I got a lot of good color there that I don't want to lose. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start it over here. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Very pretty. I'll start over there, and I'm going to get some of the darker, might even get a little bit of this one that has the black in it. And before I move, I want to spray this. Also, one thing that you'll notice that I did is I scooped up this paint into small areas. So all these colors are in like a very small spot. In fact, I might even do it further. Let me scrape this off out of the way. I'm using a glass palette. That's why I can scrape it like I do. And I think I'm going to put this in kind of order of the mixtures. So there's that one. And then scrape up as much of this as I can get. Okay, and then I'm putting it in a new area and trying to really keep it thick, because the thicker that it is, the longer it'll last for us before we have to reload or remix it. Before it dries out. It'll dry out much quicker if it's thin on the palette. So by kind of scooping it up and using it in a more condensed area, then we'll have more room to mix. And now I'm going to just scrape all that off so that I don't have it in the way. Because all those bits that were left over there, all the little thinned out areas, what happens is they dry really quickly, and then as I pick up more paint, they can get into that mixture and cause like little flakes of dried paint to be mixed into what I'm doing, and I don't want that to happen. So having this way will give me a little bit more working time with my paints. Okay, there we go. Now spray them again. Make sure everything's wet. I needed more white and more unbleached titanium because I used it all up. Just getting myself set here so I can work quickly between these colors. Okay. Uh-oh, I left that open. Okay, just cleaning my hands off real good. All right, let's go. I'm going to get some of that muted pink here. I'm going to just use it on the tip. Grab some of that coral color. And this is where I'm using a fairly good amount of paint here at first to just lay my color on where I want it darkest. And I can push it around kind of.
So which brush did you grab there?
This is the 3/8 inch angle.
Man, you get it right every time. You're pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I get it right every time.
Well, when I ask you what brush you're using, you always get it right. Don't worry. It makes no sense either.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be silly, but
okay.
obviously it was like, whew.
That went right over my head. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Went way past your paint brain.
I did. My paint brain is strong today. All right, so using some of this darker color, you can see how it's kind of almost magenta or like almost purple color right there. It's got that black in it. And so now I've got my colors all kind of on here thick, and then I'm just going to blend through them. And as I need to, wipe my brush off to kind of pull some of that color off. And so like here, if I grab that and I come up here and that's too heavy, that's where I know I need to wipe my brush off, and then I can pull that color back off and blend back out. And most of this is pretty neutral, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more of that neutral color. And then get some of my highlight color and just dab it along there. And then we'll just let that set. I'm not sure if I like that color, so what I may have to do is add some brown to that color, because I think it might be too purple. I think it's going to be okay in the darkest part down in here, but and let's go ahead and, while I'm thinking about it, okay, I need to get another, you see that? I've got a stray hair. I'm going to get another one of these. It's not doing that. That's my fault, because I probably didn't clean it out right.
That's all right. I'll blame it on you. And welcome, everybody. I don't know if we said hi, but
I did. I kind of generally said, hope you subscribe.
The general bonjour.
Yeah.
Hola.
But I didn't say hi to everybody who's already subscribed and comes every week.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Hello to all the unusual suspects.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to go in here and just where I see my dark areas, I'm going to map those out and kind of put in this really dark. I added burnt umber to it, and that's helping, I think, tone it down a little bit. And if you watched the video that we did of the mum, that was that pink mum, you could probably do this one in that same style as far as the way we did the dark area first in the middle of the flower and then built out around it, the lighter colors on top. I think that would be a good way of doing it. This is going to look really dark at first, but don't be afraid of going really dark, because you've got to have these really dark areas here for those light contrasted, or to give contrast to your light areas of your flower. So be bold here. Go ahead and go really dark. And it quickly changes to a more bright color. So I'm going to get some of the magenta here and use that, because I kind of feel like I need another color to transition these. And then let's go ahead and grab some of our lighter colors here, and I'm just going to blend that out. I said I wasn't going to do this the hard way, and I'm doing it the hard way. I know myself. Oh well. You had nothing better to do today, right now?
No, like I said,
I'll like it better if I do it this way.
I've already worn myself out, so
good.
If you hear me snoring, I fell asleep over here just because.
That's okay. It takes a while to do a realistic painting, and I think people don't realize that. When you see these videos, these videos that are, paintings that are time lapse, it makes it look like it's, super fast and easy. Which I have some paintings that are, simple and are fast, but
Yeah,
When you're doing realistic style, a lot of times it takes a lot longer than you think. And that's normal. So don't be put off by that. And also when you're painting along with me, it'll go slower for you because you'll be watching and, have to stop to watch what I'm saying and then do it. And so it can often take like twice as long and when I see people say, oh, it took me twice as long, that's normal. That's not anything that you've done wrong. It's just it takes a little bit longer when you're following along. All right, getting that light. I got some white here and I'm just blending.
And you have several videos out there showing how to do more simplified roses for sure.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it could work in this setting. I
don't know. I might.
But I wouldn't. If I were you, I'd do it really awesome. Like I have to tell you that. You've only got like 400 some odd videos like it, so. Do you.
Do me. Okay, let me do me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't do it like I would.
Don't do it like I would. Check. I'm adding some of that kind of more coral blue red. It's looking too purple. That's better. I almost think that an actual red might have worked too instead of the magenta. I didn't think about doing that, but I wonder about. Let me try a cadmium red medium here and just see what it looks like when it's, because it has that kind of a little bit of an orangey tone, and it might work with this as well. So let's try that. Yeah, it's too red. I think it's too red. But mixed with this, it might work. Okay, so this is a cadmium red medium. Yeah, that's better, I think. It just needs a little bit more of a coral tone. That magenta is just making it too purple. Which is fine in the inner area. I don't mind it there, but on these highlighted areas, it really doesn't work. I'm going to use a little bit of the darker colors just on the inside. And then on the brightest parts, right along the edge there, just kind of highlight it a little bit. And I'm kind of doing each individual petal just so that I don't lose track of my drawing because there's so many petals with this. We could, let's try this. Let's do a glaze of my darker color. So let's get some of the magenta dark color here. It's got a little bit of the brown in it. And I want a little bit more of the magenta with it. I might even add a little bit of the cadmium red. Okay, I'm just gonna see, I'm lost on my. I need to do this thin enough so that I can see the. I lost all my lines there.
Tracing.
Yeah, I just lost them. Oh well.
Well, maybe if you look from the back of the canvas.
What?
Maybe if you look from the back of the canvas, maybe you could still see them.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm just going to go through here with the tip of my brush and kind of draw in my dark areas over this glaze. And the roses is kind of smushed out on this, on its side here. So it's more oval than round. Like if it wasn't laying on its side, it wouldn't be smushed as much. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind as I'm doing these. They're not as round as it would be.
So do you prefer...
Sorry, I'm not
No, that's fine.
teaching this very well because I'm kind of switching around the way I'm doing it.
Well, you're figuring it out.
There's one way of doing it there where you do each individual petal, very carefully, or you can do it this way where you're kind of sketching it almost. I kind of like this look. We're definitely going to have to go back here and, add more details to it, but it's a faster way of doing it, and I think it looks more painterly too. So, and by painterly, I just mean kind of more sort of an expressive, impressionistic type,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going back in and just kind of looking at where I see my light colors and sort of going back and forth between the light and the dark areas here. I'm getting some of the more coral colors as I go out from the center. So I'm going to just kind of quickly sketch in these areas here. And this kind of painting too, I can use a little bit more paint on my brush because I am going between the dark and the lights, and I'm going over the top of these darker colors. I kind of have to use a little bit more paint to cover some of these dark areas. So
Before you switch it up, somebody asked, which style do you prefer more, or does it just depend?
I like this style probably more, just in general. As far as I think it's more kind of interesting long term, if that makes sense. So like, the realistic flowers, I really like doing them, and that's kind of my natural go-to way of painting, I feel like. But this way I think just kind of is a little bit more, since it's a little bit less defined and a little bit more expressive, it I feel like has a little bit more of a character to it, So a little bit more unique, maybe, is the word I'm looking for. And so it'll have kind of areas that are unexpected, maybe, or just brush strokes that are a little bit more obvious. And I like that look myself. So, more than the soft blended look. And that's, it's funny because that's what I paint naturally as I kind of gravitate towards that. But when I, the kind of artwork that I really like is that really expressive kind of artwork too. So I don't paint it as often as I would like. I would like to be a little bit more of a loose painter, but it doesn't come naturally to me. So I have to kind of force myself to do it. Okay, but you can see how I'm kind of playing with the values and just going between these different layers here. Now trying to add just a little bit of the highlights in here before these areas get completely dry. And there's these little pockets that happen between the petals where that dark color kind of lives. So
And happy spring.
is it spring now?
First day of spring today.
Ooh, nice.
But it's also the first day of fall
For
the people
Australia?
down south.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Yeah, they're opposite us.
Well, I knew that, but I mean, I just didn't know that. Well, it makes sense that they would call it fall instead of spring, you know. When it's
I love you.
what? Well, I don't know why I thought they would still call it the same as us.
But I would say it would be kind of interesting having Christmas in the summertime.
True. Okay, getting that white there, put it along that edge. Some of these petals here are a little bit brighter, a little bit not as bright as I'm making them here is what I meant to say. A little bit too bright. And the trick is to get them in without covering up all your dark areas. That's the hard part, because these are such small little areas here. I'm just kind of pulling between colors here. Working quickly, so hopefully I would just say if you're painting along, just make notes of what I've mixed and where, so that you can, because I don't even remember anymore what exactly these are. You know, I just have to work quickly to be able to get this in here. So
If somebody wanted to make it a little more peachy,
yes,
what could they add to their color mix?
just more yellow. And I probably do need mine more peachy. I didn't think I went a little bit too white or too magenta with mine, so I'll show you how to tone it down here, and after I get it all done, I can glaze over it with my yellow and it'll change the color. And you might almost work with two different brushes. I might do that, but have one that has the darker color and one that has the lighter color, because you're moving back and forth so quickly that it can kind of end up getting a little bit muddy. Get some yellow oxide here and mix that with the magenta and red. A little bit more magenta. Some of the areas back in here are really dark. Really only the ones in the very center are really, really dark, and then the rest of it is all pretty kind of medium tones. And what I mean is these, these really dark areas here. There's only a few of them that are mostly all in the center area here. I'm going to get a little bit more of it and do it again right here. And then like right here, kind of lighten it up a little bit. Too much. Here we go. All right, let's do these outer petals here, and I'm going to go ahead and use the Unbleached Titanium with this light pink that we made. A little bit of white. It's almost like very close to the parchment color. Just a little bit more of a blush. What are you starting to say, Ann?
Somebody would like to know, if they don't have a glazing liquid, what could they do?
You could just use water. It's fine. You don't have to use glaze. It gives you a little bit of extending time, the glaze that I use, so extends your dry time just a little bit, but water's fine. Water will work just fine. Okay, using that lighter color here. I think the key to this is just to be paying attention to your light and dark areas of the rose, and just making sure you're getting these dark areas really dark, and these areas like this, I need to go in and just make sure that that dark area where the petals going down inside has enough contrast with the rest of the petal, so that's what's going to make it look like it's going down in there. If it's not bright enough or dark enough, both, if your highlights aren't bright enough and your darks aren't dark enough, it'll kind of flatten out everything. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're working. If you're like, everything looks a little flat, then I would just go back in and bump up these areas where you know that the light and dark are meeting up, and making sure that those are really contrasted well. Okay, so I've got a petal here that's right along the edge, and then one right under here, so the under part, I'm going to get my dark color and come up right up against that. Pull that out. And then right at the very tip of this flower, I'm going to use that light color to fill it in. And by using the angle brush too, I can get down in, the little cracks and things. Now this one has got an area that kind of curves up, so I'm going to use this dark color that's down there and pull it all the way up. And then just blend it out as it goes into this petal here, so that it's blended. I don't have to blend the area where it's meeting up with the petal over the top of it, but I do have to blend it into the petal itself if it's that petal that's tucking up underneath that. I hope that made sense, but it made sense to me when I was saying it.
Me too. I hope it makes sense.
Okay. What'd you say?
I said me too. I hope it makes sense.
You obviously weren't listening, or you could have told me that it did make sense or didn't.
That may or may not be true. If that makes sense.
It did make sense. Made perfect sense.
So, what exhibit are we going to when we go up to?
We're going to the North Forest Lights,
Ooh, yes.
which
Nice.
it's a little bit more spring for that. We wanted to go at Christmas time, but we had a lot of people staying with us and didn't have the chance to go.
And then bad weather.
In bad
Chances
weather,
snow
yeah.
and
The
stuff.
day we were going to go, it was raining. We didn't want to be outside. It's an outdoor exhibit of lights and art. Lighted. It's lighted artwork, like sculptures and things outside. So it's not just like lights and trees and stuff. It's more involved.
And
It's supposed to be really cool.
It is probably located in the North Forest.
It's at Crystal Bridges Museum.
Right.
Well, yeah, probably North Forest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they call there.
I mean, since they call it that, right?
Right.
I mean, that would make sense to me.
It sounds like it's going to be fun, though. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so this is coming together fairly quickly, doing it this way. Just I am going kind of back to doing the individual petals on these bigger ones, but the middle part kind of came together a little bit more quickly by doing it this way. But I'm going to go back in. I'm going to have to come back in and highlight some of these areas. So I'm still not done with this center part of the flower. Just adding some highlights here and there. Okay, let's go ahead and fill in these ones out here.
I like it when you look over at me and smile.
I'm supposed to tell them.
Oh, sorry. I don't feel as creepy just staring at you.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
Sorry, everybody. I was talking there.
If you were. I got a lot of comments this week about that they like our chatter. So,
Okay.
yes, they like to listen to you talk to me. So those are the people that we don't have to listen to the haters.
So the people who support us like us.
Exactly.
I like how that works.
Exactly.
And we like them.
We do. They're smart. They have good taste. See,
That's true.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just taking my brush here that's loaded with this light color, and I'm just kind of pulling from the bottom in towards the center here over the top of this dark that I already have, just to kind of blend it in. And then right here I've got an area that needs to be blended.
I do like this look, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's a little bit kind of not messy, but you know, just a little bit more painterly. It's like, I guess you could call it messier, but
Well, I don't know what it is. Maybe because it makes you like think about it more. I don't know.
maybe.
I'm trying to
yeah,
express what it is about it. You know, because like a real painting, you know, very very realistic. Well, okay, you know what that is for sure.
right.
But when it's like this and it's
Get a little bit of burnt sienna here and add it. Yeah,
the strokes and stuff like that and certain patterns, you know, makes your mind put together that image.
right. Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like little pieces of the puzzle. Makes your brain work for it a little bit more, maybe. It might be a little too red, but I'm going to live with it for now and see. Add a little bit of this more reddish color. Added a touch of burnt sienna to the Quinacridone Magenta and red. And then, did I add black? I don't think I did. I think it's just those colors. Really feel like the more I'm messing with it, the less I like that center part. So I need to add some more of that dark back in.
So while we're just kind of watching you paint, paint dry, I'll pitch the Patreon.
Okay.
So over at patreon.com/AngelFineArt, you find
Sound
a
like a commercial.
wide variety of...
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
I'm practicing for another career, you know. You never
Okay.
know.
It's okay.
No, but seriously, over there right now here in 2021, there's different levels. You can get different things. So traceables at the $2 level. We got traceables in a bonus video at the $5 level plus pictures. $10, all that, plus an additional challenge week. And somebody asked if you would show the group challenge thing because I think they liked how it came out.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the mountain stream thing.
Yeah. I'll show that here.
It was pretty cool.
It did turn out good. I liked it. This month we did a landscape. And what I do with the $10 level people is we just paint together, or I paint. I don't know if they paint, but I do.
You're sometimes not on camera though.
I do a Yeah, exactly. I don't have Mark to keep me on camera. I do a weekly live stream with them that they get to watch. So, where is that? Yes. So this was the one that we did this month. So it was about 6 hours, I think, something like that. Three 2-hour videos on Thursdays. So we do. Oh, there's more of it. Did it on a large canvas this time, but yeah, I really like how it turned out. It's very pretty. Lots of detail down in the water and things. Went over all kinds of different techniques. It's clouds. Spent a good amount of time going over how to do clouds and mountains and stuff. So lots of different things if you're into landscapes. So that one turned out pretty good. I liked it. So that's at $10 level videos. Next month, I think we're going to do a fishing village. So that'll be cool. It'll have some buildings and water and boat, seagulls, all kinds of fun stuff.
And
Dogs.
and also at that level, you get access to a private Facebook group too, where
Right.
You can ask questions and Angela interacts, and I really appreciate that because I was scrolling through and saw where somebody had asked about a flower they were thinking of painting and needed help with colors. And you took a screen grab and you went in some detail and showed the different paints, colors and stuff
Right.
to do in the different areas. And
Right.
so it's that kind of extra content that you can get
Right.
also.
Yeah, it's just more access to my time. I just don't have time to do that for everybody anymore. So it's just a way of offering a little bit more access to my opinion if you want it. If you don't, that's fine. I get it. Mark doesn't listen to me either. So
But I get her opinion all the time. And she's usually right. So.
I don't know why anybody would want to pay for that, but it's okay. No, I'm joking. But we that's a fun group, and right now they're voting on what we're going to be painting in April. We always do a poll at about midway through before the next month and decide what I'm going to be painting the next month. And I've learned to listen to them because they're usually right. As far as whenever I go off rails and we're like, well, this didn't do well in the poll, but I think I still want to paint it. It never does well. Those folks know what they're talking about. So at least they're probably keyed into what my core audience wants to see. Sounds like, it feels like. So anyhow, it's fun.
It is. And there's over 3,600 supporters right now. So that's amazing.
It's
Thank you.
Crazy.
Is your top level full?
No, I have one more in the angel level. So that level is, I don't usually talk about it, but yeah, that level is for people who want to do consulting on the phone with me or
A video chat.
Video chat with me directly, one-on-one. But it's all that information is on Patreon. If you want to, interested in checking it out. There's lots of stuffs on there. We are. I really like the video we did for the $5 level this month too. Oh, that's the one we varnished on Tuesday. The lilacs and lavender and champagne, But anyhow, that was the $5 level one, in case anybody was interested in that either. So turned out fun. I did both of those on larger canvases this time, It actually was kind of nice painting on the bigger canvas. All right, I'm adding a little bit more yellow oxide to this more coral of the pinks here. And maybe a tiny bit of this dark color because I see a little bit of a purplish tone to it as well, and I'm going to use that down here. Good. It's probably a little too dark, but we'll see. So I'm laying the color down what I need to do before it dries because I don't want this hard line to have to blend out. So but before that dries, I need to get my white or whatever other color that I'm going to mix with this and blend that back up into it so that they blend together. Because otherwise I could end up with a hard line of dark color and it can be hard to blend it once it's dry. So you don't want to wait too long and don't, so do small sections basically is what I'm trying to say. And not well. Do small sections here. That's a good color. I like that. Brownish. Cashmere's.
Somebody just woke up.
Oh. Pickle is he got into the irises today and chewed up a iris. Hopefully didn't ingest too much of it because they're toxic to dogs, and I could tell he wasn't feeling good when I got up. He was outside with Dad doing dog stuff.
Well, between that and snacking on the compost too.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully you're not going to be feeling too bad much longer. He's passed out at my feet here. Or dog. Oh, he's still a puppy-ish. He doesn't look like it because he's so big, but he's only 9 months old, so he's still learning. I don't know why dogs eat stuff that's bad for them like that. It's so frustrating. It's like, it really is like having a child because you're constantly trying to keep them from killing themselves. It's just like having a toddler around. I remember those days with my boys where it's just like,
Yep.
Why do you try to do the things that are going to get you hurt? Why? It's so fun. All right. Trying to blend this out here. This petal is not very blended, so I'm going to try to blend between this dark and light area here. I hear that purring on right up next to your mic there. Cashmere. Now that Spencer's not here today, all the animals are in the studio today. Usually our son Spencer kind of plays babysitter to the animals while we're painting. I say me, while I'm painting. Just make that clear.
Yeah, I'm not like painting off camera or anything.
All right. All right, making kind of a greenish brown here. Burnt sienna, mostly yellow oxide, a little bit of green. And there's, yeah.
Yeah, so we just had cat cam up there.
Oh,
and
did you?
I think Tuesday you're doing cashmere?
Yes, we're painting her on Tuesday. Yeah. Haven't painted her before, so I'm excited. That's going to be a fun one.
Hope she doesn't mind getting spray painted.
She'll be all right. Well, you took that picture of her, right? Long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. It was very early in the morning and dark, and I was sitting at the counter drinking some coffee just before leaving for work, and I was on my iPad, and I look over, and she's sitting in the chair next to me staring at me like that. I didn't hear her jump up or anything. I just look over, she's just sitting like that. So I took a picture of her with the phone. So she's lit by the light from the tablet.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And she's just,
Just
got that
staring
creep.
at you. Creepy stare.
Got that creep on.
Yeah. She's wrapped in a blanket in it, though.
No, that one Spencer did. He made a burrito
Oh.
and took a picture. That's not this one.
Are you sure? Because it looks like it had a blanket. That's funny. Yeah, they call her burrito when they wrap her in a blanket. They cocoon her in like a burrito. They wrap her all up.
They swaddle her like a baby.
Yeah, swaddle her, and she call her a burrito. She loves it. She just sits there. She pretty much lets the boys do whatever they want. She's so passive. She's a good kitty. She's a good sport. She put up with a lot from 3 boys. Okay, what was I doing here?
And me.
Okay, where am I at? And you, yeah.
Well, last night you went out with your friends, and so
Right.
when I was done shoveling dirt, I came in, I sat down, and so Fitz jumped up and laid in your spot on the couch waiting for you. And then she jumped up and laid on my lap because Spencer wasn't here.
Right.
So it was just like we're all hanging out.
All the animals hanging with Dad.
I'm glad you had hanging with Dad there.
What?
You said all the animals. Just like,
Oh.
I guess, yeah. All right.
Okay, there's another section there I missed. I'm using this kind of more muted greenish color here in some of these areas. Here too, this is adding a little bit more of that undertone that we want. You'd be surprised at how many like browns and things are in pinks and whites, and it's like your eye picks up on the bright colors, but you don't actually kind of see these undertones unless you really look. You kind of have to really look for them, and then you're like, oh yeah, there's brown in there, or green, or whatever, unexpected colors popping up. And if you don't have them, things can tend to look a little too candy, candy colors. Right? If that made sense, but unrealistic.
You said candy, so I might
Mark's
get
like,
some.
I think I'm going to get some candy now.
Good tie-in.
Good idea.
Let me know if you need some cat fur in that painting.
Okay. You get some cat fur to spare over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then this petal is... There's a small petal from right here coming down, I think. Wait, no, that's that petal. Okay, so this is all this one. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Don't carry on. Just fine. Just
I'm used to it.
working out where my petals are here. Okay, so wiping off that color out of there. Get some more of this kind of medium dark. Not quite as dark out here on the edges. Okay, and then getting that light pink, a little bit of white here. Coming down from the side here. Okay. And I'm going to use this bright white right along there, and then use a lighter pink on the top of this one. Get a little bit more of that color there. Get some white. Do the white right there. All right, now I'm going to get that white. Just fill in this area with the white, more white color. Make sure I got a bright highlight here.
I can't think yet.
I love you. She sounds so happy right now. I can hear her purring all the way from over here. Okay, and then I need to use a little bit of the darker color in here. What? You're starting to get...
Oh, yes. Just saying that people were wondering what I got you for your birthday.
Oh.
And I told them, well, it was a secret. I couldn't tell anybody.
Right.
They're just hoping that it's not a handbag that has to be returned. So thank you very much for all the love and support out there. Appreciate it.
That was pretty funny. Last year. Well, it was for Christmas, I think. Yeah. Mark got me a purse that I had sent him the link to. So this is how we have to do. Because if I want to get something that I want, like if he asks me and it's like, hey, what do you want? So I'll go pick something out and send him the actual link to where to buy it, just to make it easy. And so I did that, and I even wrote, because the link showed a different picture, and I wrote, the name of the color that I wanted. And did he read what I wrote? No. He went to the link, and did he buy what was at the link? No.
I bought the picture.
He bought the picture.
Words. Who has time to read them?
So, I don't know.
That was all in the same year where for Valentine's Day I
Right.
get her. I asked her what color flowers and stuff she likes, and she told me and all that stuff, and sent me pictures. And
Right.
so I ordered some, and she was going through my phone for something, looking
I was
for a
looking
picture.
at pictures of Liam.
And she saw the screen grabs that I took of the flowers I ordered, and she looked at me like, "I hope you didn't get these." Like,
They weren't even at all what I told him. Not even close. Like, not even one of the flowers was what I... And he was like, well, I couldn't find the whatever, cottage roses. So what? Lilies are the same, right? Lilies and daisies? Isn't that close? No?
well, so I did okay for Valentine's Day this year,
Yes, you did.
and I got
You
you
bought me tea stuff. That was always easy.
right, and then for your birthday, you got more tea stuff, but you were sitting next to me on the couch. Say, oh yeah, that's good. So I know I got that right. But there's a mystery gift on the way.
This Mark is not a good gift giver, I just have to say. So we've just decided in order to save our marriage, this is how we have to do. Because
Well,
I like getting, my love language is, gifting gifts. And so that's important to me.
I think you liked one of the gifts I got you for Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's you got a frame for it.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And we'll see how the mystery gift goes.
Okay, sweet. Well, if it's anything like that one, then I'm definitely going to like it.
Like I said, we'll see how it goes.
Mark went off the rails and decided to go on his own without asking me what I wanted this year, which is totally fine. I get it. I mean, so we'll see. It's not like I'm like, am I super picky? Maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I am.
They got a new version of the George Foreman grill, so I thought,
There you go. He did get me that one year. Like I said, no, Mark's not. This is not his.
Did you say you wanted a George Foreman grill?
We were walking through Walmart,
it's a yes or no question. Did you say you wanted one?
Hey, we probably should get one of those.
Yeah, no.
But I wasn't like, hey, I really want that for my birthday. You know what would really make me happy on my birthday? A George Foreman grill. He's like, yes, I knew. Yes, I got a perfect gift for her.
Yeah.
Because you know how much I like to cook.
The flaming quesadilla.
What? Oh, gosh. I am so bad. I swear. I get so mad at myself, too, because I burn things all the time. If I put something in the roaster and do not set a timer on it, it's going to burn. Like, that's just pretty much I've decided. Because I put the bread in the other day, just to, like, heat it up a little bit. Dinner was ready. I made amazing potato soup for what was it, St. Patrick's Day, and Mark brought home some bread, and so I like just stuck it in under the roaster to get a little bit toasty, and forgot all about it until Mark was like, "What's burning?" That would be the bread. The whole top of it was just black. I mean, I'm surprised it was not in flames because it was dark, but we ate around it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a menace. I should not be allowed to roast things. I had a flaming quesadilla incident last year. Oh, well. All right. So we're close to being done here. I think I'm pretty happy with this for the most part. The colors are close. What I'm doing right now is just going back through with my white and light colors here and just adding contrast because, there's some areas here where I can't tell, where one petal starts and the other one stops kind of thing. So just kind of adding a little bit of contrast here with this. And this brush is probably a little bit too big for this because it's not wanting to get down in my little cracks here very easily anymore. But I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. And that was definitely easier than going through and painting in each individual petal. So what?
So somebody said that saying that you roast things gives us a clue that you don't like to cook. Because, yeah, it was a broiler.
Broiler, thank you. Yeah.
And then somebody in genuine concern said, Mark, do you starve?
No, we eat out a lot.
Yeah.
I can cook if I'm focused. Like, I just need to, if I...
It's not something that she just likes to do.
Right, I can do it.
Oh, yeah, no, like I said, the soup is amazing.
Yeah. I think my brain was full. Done thinking. No, I'm very focused. That's my thing. And that's a good thing when it comes to painting. So it makes me, really focus on details. I can spend a lot of time on a painting and not get bored. I just really focus in on what I'm doing. But when it comes to cooking, it means that if I'm not focused on exactly what is happening, then I forget about everything else. So, and that happens when I paint too. So it kind of carries over. It's just the way my brain works. It's so when I'm cooking, it's just, if I walk away from it, then it's gone. And I'm focused on the next thing.
Yeah, I think it was the whole thing with the quesadilla was that you started it and then you thought about something and you went into your studio.
Right.
And started on that.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yep. Yeah, and that was my other dog.
Yeah, he was barking.
He was barking in the kitchen. I was like, what?
What's going on? So when I came home, I bring a coffee, with me while I drive. And so I, rinsing my coffee cup out in the sink, and I'm like, why is there a tortilla out on the back porch?
Yeah. Don't ask about it. It's okay.
And surprisingly, the birds weren't trying to eat it either.
They knew better. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's just... All right, I think that's good. I'm not going to mess with that anymore. I'm pretty happy with it for the most part. There is one little... I'm just seeing here, this little petal right here needs to have a little separation from the one back here. Okay, there we go. So let's add a little highlights on this guy. And then we'll do our leaves. So I'm just going to use that white and go over the top there a little bit. And it's kind of thinned out, so it'll just sort of dry a little bit bright. It actually kind of darkens as it dries, the white does, so. Well, it kind of absorbs down into whatever it's around, I think. I'm not really sure why, but. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and work on our leaves. I'm going to get my green and burnt sienna. And I'm going to add a little bit of the Ultramarine Blue. I'm mixing up a fairly good amount here because I want to use a lot of it. Let me see. I'm going to add some white. So I want a little bit more blue, a little bit more of the brown. There we go. Kind of a smoky blue-green. The brown just helps neutralize it, so it's like a little bit more of a normal color. And yep, that's good. Okay, I'm going to use that up here. And just start. Like I said, most of these leaves are out of focus, so we can kind of just do them in, and then I'm gonna let me get my blender here, and I'm gonna use that white and unbleached titanium for from the background. And while that green is wet, I'm just gonna go along the edges of it and smudge it out a little bit. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you want your green to be more crisp, you can just leave it as is, but I'm just kind of trying to do it like the photograph is, kind of blendy. So, and just blurred out because it's in the distance there. Just going to use up what's left in my brush here. I'm going just a little shade darker here.
Someone asked
It's darker. What? Go ahead.
if that scrubbing is hard on the brushes.
Yeah, this is a blender is meant to be scrubbed like this. It's a stiff bristled brush, so
So it's not going to destroy them.
No. Well, I mean, it eventually will kind of spread out the bristles, and they'll be like this. So this is one that's been used and abused for a while. That kind of wears them down. But I actually like these ones better for foliage and stuff. For blending, you kind of maybe want them a little bit more together, but they're stiff bristled and meant to be kind of abused a little bit. I'm going to, before this dries, I'm going to get a little bit of my pink here and just kind of clean up that edge. Kind of got my green on it right there. Okay. And these are actually a little bit more yellow-green here. So I'm going to get a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of white, and outline these with that. Just filling it in. This one's got a little bit more of the yellow in it. Like I said, we get a little bit of the unbleached titanium, use it around the sides. I'm going to use a little bit of this lighter color in here. Along in here. I'm going to get that darker. Come from the top and just kind of draw in my darker side of that. Just a little stem or seam down the middle. Vein, whatever. Okay. I missed some of that background color right in here. Getting some more of the burnt umber green, burnt sienna here. This one way back here is a bit darker. And there's a bunch of leaves here. I mean, really, you could do as many or as few as you wanted to. You don't have to do as many as what is in this, you know. It's just up to you. A lot of these are very kind of blurred out and everything, so I'm not going to take too much time with it. But I do want to have different colors going on, you know, so some a little bit more yellow and some a little bit more of that blue, and that will just kind of give it a little bit of difference in color, help with the illusion, so it doesn't look like just a big green blob in the background here. I'll have a little bit of definition between the colors. Dark, get the green and the burnt umber here. This is really dark right in here. And a good contrast between this and the part of the rose that's sticking out right there. And I need a better brush to get right around that rose because it's not blurry around the rose, so. making noises over here.
Got some puppy dreams going on.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use the white and the unbleached titanium here. Just putting more of that color back in and blending around my leaves and on top of them just a little bit. If you put that light color on top, it kind of blurs out the edges and just kind of softens up all those edges. And you can put highlights through the leaves with this. Again, I'm not being particularly careful about how I'm painting in these leaves. I think the more random the better. It's looking pretty good, I think. There's some right in here that I'm going to put in later. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of that green down or that background color down and then go back in with my green. I'm going to put in some highlights there, and then there's like a highlight down the stem here. And then just a little bit of an indication on this side. That's probably too... Oh, I lost all that color. Oh. Oh, it's still okay. Phew. Reactivated it there. Okay. And this one, I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow to this color. Get a little bit more yellowish. So there's... Okay. Getting that dark green. I'm going to get some of this burnt sienna too and just add a little bit of it kind of in some places. Kind of helps. Add another color in there so it's not just green. Just scrubbing out what's on my brush there. And then getting more of that highlight color. There's 2 leaves. There's one here, and there's a little bit of this coming through right there, and then another little bit right there.
I don't remember if you said while you were painting the rose, but are there any tips in not getting lost in which petal you're working on?
Yeah, the way I do it is to print out my reference or have it right in front of me, but it's helpful for me to have it printed because then I can use one hand to hold over the image of where I am, and then I paint that part and then go to the next part. But if I kind of keep my hand on there, it kind of helps. I'm going to use a little bit of this rosy color to outline this leaf. Again, these are blurry, so it's all very indistinct. We on time? Yeah, we're almost 2 hours. I thought I was doing faster than that. Honestly, I lost track of time there. Lost a whole hour somewhere. No, not that much, but oh well.
We're doing great.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
No plans.
Nope.
Other than
Just
being
painting.
awesome.
Oh, hopefully. I know you're awesome.
Don't know about that.
Okay. Filling in this stuff here. This leaf needs to come all the way down to this one. And then and I'm going to use some of the pink on the tip of this one. I see a little bit of it. Now, see what's happening here is that green is starting to dry, and as I put that pink on, it was just scraping it off, so just need to let it dry. All right, I'm going to get my 1/4 inch angle here. Get some of my yellow with this green that has the brown in it. A little bit of yellow, cadmium yellow. in some burnt umber, or I'm sorry, ultramarine blue. I don't know why I said that. And then using the white, I'm going to do some lighter color here on the bottom of the leaf. Use a little bit of that purple there. I'm going to mix up some more of this blue-green here. The ultramarine blue and green and burnt sienna. Some white. Just a little bit darker in some places here. I'm going to get some more white. When you're blending two colors together, especially if the first color is dry, you really need to have some of both colors. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to blend back into another color. You may have to mix some of it up. And that, it doesn't have to be the exact same color, just as long as it's close, and then you can just blend a little bit of that new color into whatever you've already got, if that made sense. But I'm going to get some of the darker green right here and just do this side of the stem a little bit darker. Just pull that color out. Okay. So I put that darker color down there, and then I didn't blend it out, so just need to blend that out a little bit. I like how it looks over here, isn't that neat? Okay, doing a little bit of this darker green over here. Throwing in some of this darker purple in places just to give it another, like I said, another kind of, sometimes these colors, you'll see them in other places, especially on a flower. It's almost like they have these colors that are stored in the flower. I don't understand it myself, and you'll see the same colors repeated even in the leaves and the flower petals themselves. So, in these leaves, there's some of this purple that's, purplish tone that's in the actual flower itself too. So it's like the chemicals or whatever that are in the leaf are coming out on the petals too. Okay, using that pink to kind of do some of the highlights on the leaves over here now. Why not? Getting some white. I'm just kind of tapping because it's sort of fuzzy. Okay, let's go ahead and put the highlight back in on this side. Ooh, what did I do there? Look at that. I don't know how I did that. Well, we're going to have to fix it. It's weird. I'm going to try this. Sometimes if you get it... No, it is dried. Sometimes if you put fresh paint on top of an area, it'll take that color off, but I must have done that early because it is dried as could be. That is so weird. And it's in a blended area, which makes it even more fun because you have to paint the blend together too. Oh well.
A tutorial you didn't expect to be doing.
All right. And it really isn't that bright over back here. So putting that shade color down and then just blending over the area where I don't want it. That is going to be, it does not want to cover. It's going to take a couple coats. Let's do the petal. Petals should be a little bit easier because it's the same color-ish. And I really do want to have some of this lighter pink in this area too, so I'm going to go over this area. Blend in that light pink plus a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium just to make it more ivory toned. I'm going to use some of this green here, and I'm going to glaze inside here with that, just to darken up that little bit. And then I can use the green in other areas too to kind of shadow and shade as well if I need to. Get that pink here and clean up my edge right there. My leaf color got onto it a little bit. Get a little bit of this burnt sienna yellow oxide color. Just clean up that edge right there and any other little bits that I want darker. This area needs to be darker underneath this petal. Just a little bit right there. Putting the color down, wiping it off, and then just blending it down. Let me use a little bit of that color, that kind of burnt sienna color over here too, just to darken up this flower and make it less pink in that area. And before we finish, we can glaze over this whole thing with, I think, a little yellow oxide is probably, if you have transparent yellow oxide, that'll probably be better, because the yellow oxide is opaque, and which means it'll cover over. It's got it kind of blocks the light, you know, so it'll kind of put a film over the whole thing. But if we do enough glazing medium with it, it'll be okay. It's a very, very thin layer of yellow here. This is yellow oxide. Just toning the whole rose to make it a little bit closer to the reference photo colors. Okay, so that helped a little bit. I can do it multiple times to continue to build up that. Let's go ahead and do our writing. So this is actually not blended well at all. So I'm going to get my white and my unbleached titanium and just go over this area again. Oh, and then I forgot, there's a shadow right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Burnt umber and ultramarine blue to make my gray. Get a little bit of the glaze. And underneath this leaf right here, there's a shadow on the ground. Just use the cloth to kind of blend it off. Okay, and then make sure that this one's got its little shadow coming down there. And then this shadow here is very dark. A lot darker than what we have it. Where is it? I'm going to get some of this purpley color. Okay, so put the color down, wipe my brush out, get a little bit more glaze, then just go back up into it and smush it around. Get just a little bit more of that color on just the tip of my brush here. And I'm going to get the burnt umber and ultramarine blue. I don't want this color to be too different from what we have the rest of the shadows doing. It is, I was seeing a little bit of that purple tone though. There. And then right up in here, there's that really dark color too. We already sort of put a little bit of this in, but it wasn't nearly dark enough, so just going back now and really pulling it out too far. So before that dries, I'm gonna get a little bit of the glaze and just go back over this. It's gonna like lift off the extra glaze, wipe my brush off, pull off any of this extra that I don't want, and then very lightly with my dry brush, now don't have any glaze in it, I'm just going to go over that whole area there and blend it in. A little bit more of that glaze just for right here. Okay. And then this is dark. And there's a dark area right here too. These shadows are what makes your rose look like it's setting on the thing and not floating, so you need to make sure you get these in. Real important. And make sure you get them in dark. You know, like this, it's almost black back in there. Didn't do a very good job of blending that out, did I? Okay. And then any areas that you've covered over, you know, with any of these colors, you can go back in now and kind of clean them up. So I've got some area back here on my white, or my, using like the white and the lightest pink color here to just clean up my edges on some of these borders. Okay. So our writing is going in a slanted direction, and it is very almost flat, so the angle is there, pointing up this way, all of these letters, and then this way for the actual lines, and they curve slightly this way, so like it's on a plane or something. Use a little bit of the glazing medium with this light color and just kind of blend over this. Just slightly right there. Okay. Just softening up those edges of that shadow with my blender here. Just blending it out slightly. Okay. Use a little bit of this. So I'm going to get my liner brush. And the main thing that you want to do with this is make sure that your paint is very, very thin. And I'm going to, I think I'm going to use this magenta color here to do my letters. Let me get off some of this color. Clearing off some space for myself, so work. I'm going to use the fluid acrylics, so I'm going to mix up some. Let's see. I'm going to use Quinacridone Magenta. If I can get it open. Wow. Okay. Well, let me see how wet I can get this that I've already got mixed. I just don't have very much of it. Okay. Quinacridone Magenta and a dark brown, so I'm going to use Van Dyke Brown Hue. They don't have ultra burnt umber in the fluid paints, but just mix up some of this color, or mix up a little bit more of the burnt umber with the magenta if you can't, and black. Add a little bit of black to it, just a little though.
Real quick, somebody asked, could you use kind of like a marker or pen or something to do the lettering?
Yeah, I think so. And what you could do, what if I did it in, if I was to do it in pen, what I would do probably is after I got it done, I would go over it with a light glaze of your background color to fade it out a little bit, since it's kind of soft, and the pen is going to be so crisp and sharp. And in fact, I might still do that when I get mine done. I don't know. I haven't seen. But I'm going to try to kind of thin it out with some of my, we'll get some white over here. Get some zinc white. It'll be a little bit more softer. And I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna too. I feel like it's got a little bit of that almost an orangey tone too. Okay. So burnt sienna, quinacridone magenta, brown, little tiny touch of black. That's this color. And then over here we've got it with, I don't think I like the white, it made it too purple. I think I want the unbleached titanium to like this background color here. So we use that for some of the lighter areas. And when you're mixing, to use a pen or I'm sorry, not a pen, but a long liner brush, you need to have it super fluid. And I'm adding a little glazing medium just because it will add that binder that I need to make it stick to my canvas. When you add too much water, this is actually fluid paint though, so I won't have as much problem with the underbinding as I would if I was trying to get my heavy body acrylics down to this fluidity. All right, so I'm going to start out with the script liner. I'm not sure if this will be the right one for it or not, but we'll try it and see how it goes. There was, I think this might be in another language or something, because when I was trying to figure out what it said, it didn't make any sense. So I think it's probably...
Not that other languages don't make sense. Just
no, it didn't make sense to me. So
we didn't understand it.
Right, I didn't understand it. So I'm just going to, so literally I was going to say is just, you can kind of
write whatever you want.
Exactly, write whatever you want. Make it, that looks a little bit like a John maybe, I don't know. Just as long as you keep that slant correct, I think you can pretty much write whatever you want. And it's that, very like loopy script, long, exaggerated letters. And literally, I'm just squiggling up here because I don't have any of my words left. I'll see now, there I kind of went too fast and I got it a little broken. What happens when you don't go slow with your liner brushes? Sometimes it kind of skips out on you. So just make sure that you're going slow. Keep your slant in mind as you're doing these. So I'm trying to keep all of these kind of in line together. I'm not doing a very good job here. I can't tell what I'm writing. It'd probably be fun if you did, something more personalized. I thought about getting a poem and using that as my reference. So, what are you laughing at?
People are trying to figure out what it says, and somebody's like, "Oh no, it's a Dear John letter." And then somebody said, "Dear John, I don't like pink roses." I was like, then I said, "Oh, you mean Dear Mark?"
That's good. It's so funny. Yeah, I went through and just listed all the different ones that I liked. I like these, I like that. And it came out.
It looks like there's a 369 right by the...
There is. Yeah, it is.
I've told you 369 times what kind of flower I like. Not that I'm counting.
Yeah, exactly. I really need to be doing better about actually making words because I'm kind of just scribbling now. All of this is up here is just gobbledygook. But I need to keep my angle right too because I'm flattening it out too much right here. This whole section right here is not quite right because I'm doing it a little bit more like this, and my angle should be more like that. So I need to come like that. Just gonna blend over that. Fix that. It's too dry to fix it, so I'm gonna have to just do that like this. Wasn't paying attention to my angle. These ones are okay. But those ones that definitely not right. Okay. And really a lot of this is almost flat. So especially these ones that are way back here, they got more flat as you got back in this area, I found. I'm not going to try to, I don't even know what I'm painting anymore.
You're just making up stuff, which
I'm just drawing, I'm drawing like scribbles.
Which is fine.
Here. Yeah, you can't read it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't think. I mean, like I said, if you want to be more particular about it, you can be careful and write, you know.
Well, yeah, you can write whatever in your own language too and do it.
Right, exactly. Let me do this. Clean that up a little bit. Somebody, I feel sorry for anybody who tries to come through and read this. They're like, bleeding, what? That looks like an R, but I don't think it is. It's an F, maybe? What is that?
That's just my normal writing.
Yeah. Okay, just keeping that. Oh, and then over here, there's actually pages. So it kind of goes across like this, and there's a couple pages there. Just gonna blend that out. A little bit, and there's some stuff going off the edge there.
Another suggestion was, Dear Mark, I hope you get the right purse this time. Love you anyways.
Hope you get the right purse this time. I like that.
Man, it was what? I mean, we wrote some letters back in the 80s.
We have some somewhere.
Long distance.
Yeah, that was before internet, before
cell phones.
And you had to pay for, you had to pay a lot,
phone calls.
A lot for long distance phone calls. I'm talking, an hour-long phone call could cost you $30.
Yeah.
So we wrote a lot of letters while we were dating and separated.
Mm-hmm. The old snail mail.
Yep. So I'm going to use this glaze here. And I'm going to glaze. I didn't do a very good job of these letters. Sorry. What I needed to do is just transfer back on my letters because I wasn't being very careful there. I was trying to get it done too fast. So I'm going to blend these out. See how that kind of fades them out a little bit, makes them a little bit more aged looking. Make sure you let them dry first before you do this. So. And then all up in here, there's some more, but it's very, very faint. So I'm just going to use the lightest that I can get. And whoops, stick my thumb in there. And paint this stuff in much lighter color. And there's only just like little indications of stuff back here. Can't really see any letters or anything like that. So I'm just going to kind of mess it up a little bit and try to keep it in line-ish. Again, I did the same thing. I didn't do it flat enough. Did this same exact thing. Same exact thing. I cleaned it all off and then put it back on in the same exact way. Unbelievable.
At least you're consistent.
True. True. It's hilarious. These all need to be almost flat, and I'm doing them this way for some reason. Oh well.
And voila.
There we go. Let that dry a little bit, and then I'm just going to fix my boo-boos by painting over them with a little bit of the background color. I'm just fading it out. That's it. We'll just soften it up and I'm making it blend out. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Sometimes.
That's awesome.
I know. It's like literally fixed that whole area and then went back and did the same exact thing in the same spot. Alright, so did the unbleached titanium. Now I'm going to get the titanium white and really use that a lot of that. It's still glazed, so it's thinned out a little bit, but that's my dog. Fitzy, is it time to play? Are we almost done? And Mama's needs to stop so you can play. That's a yes, I think. Okay. Alright, so using the white here. And it's got a little bit of the glaze, so it's thinned out. And see how that faded it? out quite a bit. And if you want it a little bit brighter, you can take your paper towel now and just kind of wipe back over it, and it'll kind of bring back up some of the brighter colors in the writing. But there we go. Very pretty. Don't try to read it. I just warn you right now, just don't. It absolutely makes no sense, so I did not. It's all right. I'm gonna go back to my flower here while you're doing that. A little bit of a white in the Unbleached Titanium, maybe a little bit of this pink too. Mostly white. Go.
I'll run between words.
Okay, yeah. Go.
There it goes. It'll stop here sometime. So we had a few super chats today.
Oh, nice.
So first super chat is from Maggie, and she says, "Thank you for all you do.
Oh.
This is a thing of beauty."
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Maggie. And then Carol says, "Thanks for sharing your wonderful talent with us. Happy birthday to a wonderful, kind woman."
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. Even it's not my birthday, but okay. Oh, and then Andy says, she says, "Happy birthday, Angela."
Oh, thank you guys.
So thank you to Andy.
Yes.
And to Carol and to Maggie.
Super sweet. That'll help pay for my flowers or paint my plants that I got yesterday. And my friends and I went to this new place in town called the Windowsill, and it was really fun. And we got plants to take home to our hospice. So hopefully they will live. My friend Day was like, "Let's name them so we'll keep them alive." So I think hers was Mabel, and then Stacy's was George. And so I named mine Gladys. And then Terry went off the rails and she named hers after, she did a succulent little garden. So she had like 6 in hers, 5 or 6 in hers. So she called them after the Dawson's Creek characters. But
I laughed because the other night we're sitting on the couch like we normally do, just watching TV and stuff. And she goes, "Oh, there's this new place in town. It's, located over by, such and such a place and this and that." And like, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "Yeah, you can go and you can do your own flower arrangements and it's fun." I'm like,
not flowers, garden, plants.
Whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Okay, so we're going to be doing that?" And she's like, "Oh, well, no, not us."
No, I'm doing it with my friends.
You're my friends. No, you're not invited.
I didn't say that part.
It was implied.
It was implied that you probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as we would. So, well, I would definitely be back though.
But it wouldn't be the first time I did a
True.
floral thing with you.
That's true. It would not. You're a very good sport. Okay, Fitzy, we're almost done. Mommy's just finishing up here, adding some little highlights to this petals to bring them more contrast. And if you do this and you still can't see good contrast, that probably means that you need to add a little bit of more dark into your dark areas. Because if you go as bright as you can with the white areas and it's still not really showing up very good, that just means you probably need a little more contrast in your little darker in your contrast places. So I'm just adding a little bit more whites. There we go. All right, I think we're done. I think I still turned out more pink than the photograph, so you could do another layer or two of the glaze over the top, I think, and it would work well. But I'm gonna do this too. I just noticed. Flatten out that angle a little bit right there. All right, I'm stopping. I could fiddle with this all day. You know me. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it. We will be back on Tuesday for another video, and hope you join us for that. And if you like the video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, all that good stuff, and we'll be back next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.